I've been in Italy now for 1 week in the process of starting my application for Italian-US dual citizenship with Juris Sanguinis, through the bloodline because my family is from Italy. It's my first full week here in Italy, and I want to share with you guys what it's been like my first week here. What are things that I've observed? What things have I learned during this process? So you guys can get a feel and an idea of what it's like in Italy, what it's like to come from the United States and start the process of applying for citizenship. So a little background information, in case you don't know. Some of you have been following my Facebook posts, my YouTube videos. I'm here. I got my documents 2 years ago. Over the past 2 years, I've been gathering my documents. Finally made it to Italy, and I'm not renting. I'm very blessed because my girlfriend is Italian, and her family has a home here in Italy, in North Italy, and I'm blessed to be able to have them host me and help me through this whole process, which is a huge blessing. Makes it so much easier. Oh my God. And I just got here a week ago. I brought all my documents, minus the translations, which I had to get done, which I've made a video on as I'm in the process of that getting done. It'll be posted soon. And I just want to share some observations of what I've seen so far being in Italy, because I'm in a relatively pretty small village, and I've had a meeting with the Comune, the city hall that you have to apply for citizenship with. I've had interactions with them. I've had to get some different things at like post office, and I've hung out with locals through my girlfriend and people she knows, her family. And the first thing I've noticed is just how much calmer the lifestyle is compared to America. Even though I've lived in small towns, I've lived in relatively big suburbs in America. I just moved from South Carolina. The pace, even not in just the village here, but I was in Venice, Venezia Mestre, like the land side of Venice, not the island, to go drop off documents for the translator. Even then, in like a more built-up city, I felt so calm walking the streets. There was people chilling in the piazza or like plaza, having a coffee, relaxing. And just the overall pace everywhere, has been very, very, very so much slower, so much more relaxed. And I have enjoyed that aspect of coming to Italy and slowing down. I've also come in August, which is pretty big vacation time here in Italy. So I've had to be prepared that things won't necessarily happen as fast as I maybe want. I've also learned the great impact of coming prepared, of getting your documents situated properly, making sure they're correct. I've seen the benefit of checking with this Comune that I was going to do this process with, this city hall, the benefit of checking with them beforehand, sending them my documents to look over, any questions I had, and being able to find a Comune that's helpful, that you possibly have some family connection to, or is the Comune where your relative that's from Italy was from, so you have some personal reason for them to help you in a unique way. Meaning, if you come from the States and you go to the Comune where your ancestors lived and are from, that Comune might more be willing to help you, especially if it's a small Comune, small village, small city. Because they're like, oh my God, you want to come do this here? Like, nobody comes here. We're a small village. And they might be willing to help you more. And because this Comune has been willing to help me review some documents, it's put me at peace. It's gave me more answers. Not all the time more answers, but sometimes. So that's something that I have seen the great benefit of. I've also seen how practicing my Italian for 3 months with Language Transfer, which is an insane free resource on YouTube, has paid monumental dividends because I have seen so much improvement in my Italian that I built a base foundational knowledge of, which is still very minuscule. But I built that base and then came here and was practicing utilizing that base of knowledge of the language. And it's amazing just in a week how much more confident I feel, how relatively decent I can do in conversations, the feedback from true Italians on how well I'm doing. And so putting in that work beforehand gave me so much more confidence to have interactions at the store, at the Comune, just overall life in general, at the train stations. So that is a huge benefit I've seen since being here for a week. I've also seen that how much more I enjoy European lifestyle. It doesn't feel as busy. People are not as interactive in public as they are in America, but people are, about their business, but there's a sense of calm. I wouldn't say there's a sense of enthusiasm like we have in America. People are way more interactive, enthusiastic. But I've seen that the communities, and I've known this before when I was in Europe, the close-knit communities of family and friends, I believe, are closer than in America. I think we are very, very busy as a culture. We drive everywhere. We immediately get out the car, go to the store, then drive back. We don't slow down as much. We try to fill ourselves with activities a lot. I think that's also dependent on the area of America, but from my experience living in, I think, 4 or 5 states around the country, East, West, South, Midwest, we are in much more of a fast-paced environment. And all the walking you do here is amazing. When you go into like a smaller city, even a capital city, when I had to go to Venice to do my translations, I was walking, I was slowing down. Mentally, it caused me to just chill out and relax and not be so stimulated with a phone, so stimulated with an activity, feeling like I need to be so productive. No, man, you just walk. You gotta walk for 30 minutes to get to this place, so that's how it is. I know you're not maximizing your 30 minutes of your day, but relax. And that's something I've enjoyed. Whereas in America, if I took 30 minutes to walk to the store, I feel like I'm wasting my time. So that's something I've super enjoyed, and I loved that last time I was in Europe, and last 2 times I've been in Europe, when I was backpacking and traveling for months on end. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask me about my story, feel free to put it in the comments, and I'll answer you guys, and hope to give you some insight on this whole situation. But yeah, I've backpacked Europe and backpacked traveling around Europe, Asia a few times. And so I have experience with Europe. And I just love the slower pace. You get to chill out. As an American, how we have like this ingrained busyness in our mind, and we can't maybe relax, it's actually great to come to this atmosphere. Sometimes it can be off-putting, but it's really beneficial. I've also learned that for any of you guys that maybe might be coming to live and apply in Italy, you're going to rent a place, and you're possibly going to be by yourself, or you're going to hire a, like a middleman person, lawyer, Italian aide to help you with the process with the citizenship. I could see how isolating that could be. Just being in your apartment, you don't really know anybody. They're not as, in a small village, when you have a connection to someone that they know, yeah, they're open to interaction. But I've seen there in Europe and Italy, it's more about, we know our circle, we know our people, and like strangers, nah. So I could see how it could be so isolating, especially when my girlfriend's been gone at work and I'm at the house by myself all day. It's like, it can be isolating. And I think that's something people really need to prepare for. And one way to prepare for that is by having a base knowledge of the language, because I at least know I can go to the store, go different places, at least interact possibly with some people because of the language. But if I don't really practice the language at all, I'm screwed. And I'm going to feel so isolated, I think, and lonely, especially with the way the village community and towns in Italy function, where they don't do big stranger interactions, from what I have seen and experienced last year and now, and from what I've learned from my girlfriend and other people I know. So I think that's a big thing to be aware of if you're going to come by yourself, is first picking a Comune that's receptive and willing to help you and interact with you through emails and calls maybe, which is a lot harder to find than you may think. But secondly, being prepared for the isolation, having projects you want to work on while you're living here, not just coming here just for the citizenship and just to enjoy like the peacefulness, because you're going to get bored, I would think, especially if you don't have a community built up yet and you're a super foreigner. So having things you want to work on, having people you can connect with back home, or just being a super extrovert and interacting with all these people here, but it's still going to be hard. And if you don't have things to work on, put your head into, study, the glory of being in Italy, and it's so pretty and it's so nice, and the coffee and the relaxing, like that stuff's going to wear out relatively quickly, because everywhere you go, from my, 20-something countries I've traveled in, I have learned that life is life. The same issues that you have back home, you're going to eventually have here. The habit patterns you've built are going to showcase themselves wherever you go. If you can't stand being by yourself and unstimulated, you're going to struggle with that even in Italy once the romanticism of it wears off. So being able to build habits, projects, and things you want to work on and things you can do, stimulate yourself while you're in Italy, especially if you're in a smaller area by yourself, that's huge. Yes, all the other things are really cool. Going to the cafes, walking in the cities, getting the great taste. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. The food, man. The food. I love to eat. And the food in Italy and in Europe in general, even if you go to like their Aldi or their supermarkets, man, the food is so much cheaper than America. And the food is so much richer in taste and so much less sugary. The fruits, the veggies, the natural foods taste so much better. It's insane. Even the cheap ones. You get cheap tomatoes versus expensive tomatoes. Oh my God, even those taste so pure. Whereas in the States, you got to spend $4 or $5 a pound to get good tomatoes. We got tomatoes the other day for 90 cents a pound at Aldi. Man. In some of the grocery stores, the food is just so much better. Tastes richer, and you feel full because the foods feel and taste much more natural. That's an amazing thing about Italy. And the cappuccino that I had, oh, it tastes so good. Oh my God. But still, with those things, if you're not having things that you're going to be doing or how you're going to be spending your time to enjoy yourself, to stimulate yourself, to challenge yourself, it's going to be so boring. So that's a main thing I want you guys to take away from that, because I've had more boring times and I still have things I can work on, projects, and needing to study things. And I don't do too great with isolation, so used to be a little better at it. Now I'm not the greatest at handling that. So that's what I've learned after a week in Italy, is the pace, the benefits of all the things that I prepared with my documents, with studying Italian, what it can be really like to be isolated if you're just renting. It can be really tough. Also seen how fortunate I am to have my girlfriend, to have her family, to have a place to be hosted, to have their help and assistance with all these things that can be so intimidating because you're an outsider, you don't know the language, you don't know the culture. And the final thing I have learned is that you just got to put yourself out there to the degree you can handle. For instance, me, I still get shy at times, like I was the other day at Venice, but I really try to put myself out there where I have to speak Italian to these locals. Because the only way I'm going to get better is if I practice and if I get my mistakes out of my system. But if I'm so worried about, which I have thought many times, I don't want to make a mistake, look like an idiot. I don't want to look like an outsider. Screw that. You just got to go, speak, try to, and show that you're trying. If people are rude to you because you don't know how to speak it, forget about it. Forget about them, huh? But as you keep trying to do that, it's amazing the improvement you can make, because I have seen with some Americans I have met that have been here a while, they don't study it enough. They haven't put a big effort into it. They don't try to speak it in different situations. And so their Italian is not good at all. But I have been studying. I'm relatively decent at languages for an American, I think. I'm good at languages. I think I have a base ability with them. But by putting myself out there, going to these gatherings, even when it's all Italian speakers, just like, okay, I'm going to try. It's amazing how much better I'm getting. Even like when I went to this little get-together party thing, and I was kind of getting some pushback a bit in the beginning because of I'm a foreigner, and then I just kept going and kept going. Totally turned this lady around. She was speaking to me for 20, 30 minutes in Italian, and she was impressed, and I was doing basic stuff, but it's because I was willing to put myself out there and look like an idiot, make mistakes, be in uncomfortable situations. That's the only way I'm able to gradually keep growing with my Italian, and I recommend you guys do the exact same thing. Because if you don't, you're never going to grow. And I say this as a little kitty is coming by. Hello, kitty. Ciao, gatto. Hello. The kitty cat. And a guy's riding his bike by. He's like, who's that guy speaking English? So those are some things I learned from my first week in Italy. Progress-wise, I have just dropped off my Italian documents to get translated, which that video will be up in a little bit. Should be up now. Possibly by the time you watch this, it'll be linked here. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Again, I'm Sean. I'm applying in Italy for citizenship with Iuris Sanguinis, and I hope that my videos can help you guys, any of you, even one of you, learn something that can help you when you do this process, because it is so detailed, it can be so overwhelming, and yet it is so important to so many of us to get this opportunity to get dual citizenship, be able to be Italian, live in Europe, live in Italy. And so if I can help you guys achieve that dream, like I'm trying to achieve this dream for me, it'll be worth it. As the little church bell rings, because I think it's noon right now. Ciao, gatto. Come here, kitty. Come here. Okay, ciao, ciao.